broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Woohoo! Mob Wives! Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of AFTERBUZZ After Show Mob Wives. I am so excited because we are here at the season finale, and I am joined by a very full house. I'm your host, Erika Vieira, and I will go around the room and let everyone introduce themselves.
Oh, my first?
You're first.
Hey, guys, it's Gabrielle Loren, back in the mix of it all. Just got back from the Mob Wives Central area of New York.
Woohoo.
Woo.
We got a new face in the house.
That's right. What's up? What's up? I am Blake. I'm super excited to be here today. I'm a little late jumping on board, but what a great time to start.
We just need more opinions in here.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know that we've got awesome viewers, awesome listeners, but there's so many different opinions, so we're so excited to have more voices today.
Hey guys, I'm Nicole Brajer.
The Old Faithful.
Thank you for hashtagging crazy cats. I like that you guys picked up on that.
Yay.
And like now you're our crazy cats. I think you guys like that. And as you can see, Blake's not a dude. So sorry for that.
Not a dude.
Misinformation we gave you last week.
That's
Blake
funny.
Is a beautiful redhead. Understandable.
Thank you.
So sorry for any like of our like guy fans, gay fans, whoever you are that thought we would
had
have a
their hopes
guy's perspective. Would have been cool, but it's all right.
Another chick in the house.
Yeah.
It's okay.
This is the wives. So.
Hey everybody, I'm Paulina Aquilar.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get started because we got a lot to talk about. We'll get started at the beginning. So this entire season has been building up to this last episode. I've got my thoughts and opinions on this last episode, and we'll talk about it. But the whole thing was building up to this impact between the women, especially the two Natalies. So the beginning of the episode, we see Renee, and she's chatting about wanting to do a happy baptism party. So
Her Italian party that all the Italians do, just throw a party for no reason.
for everything.
For every
So-
occasion.
And we all know that it's just the producer saying, all right, we got to get everybody in the room together. What's the excuse? Okay, Renee just had a baptism. She's going to throw a party.
Exactly.
So she's going to throw a party, and no surprise, she's inviting everybody. And now it sets the scene for this whole episode. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's just funny that Renee says that maybe this is going to change the mood of everything because her mood has changed and she's, wiped her slate clean, that now, like, this party will be the chance for everybody to. When, in fact, it's only going to do the complete opposite.
And that's to me where this part of the episode, even though, I mean, everyone knows too that I love Mob Wives, and part of the reason I love it is because it is so authentic versus so many of the other reality shows. But that's the part of it that you're watching and be like, no, you're just doing this party because it's, that's going to make a good show, and you don't really like probably any of these women, and you don't even want to see any of them at your baptism party, but you have to do it because it's part of the show. So that's part of it where it's like,
She also mentions that if they want to knock each other out, just go for it.
Yeah.
In the beginning, talking about the party. So I guess she was a part of setting it up, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely very optimistic of her. And it's interesting because she seems like the character that really holds the most grudges. So it was really big of her to say, oh, let's put everything by the wayside and go ahead and invite Nat G.
which is why it was out of character to me, and which is why it rang to me as somewhat false.
But she knows deep down they were not going to get along. She knows there was going to be some kind of
conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also think, though, to remain neutral, she has to invite Nachi, so there's not a disrespect factor of not inviting her. And then there's another problem between the two.
Yeah, and then and it's perpetuating this annoying issue between the two of them. All right, so then we set the scene of this big party being thrown, and kind of throughout the episode, we see all the women kind of doing their own thing, but also gearing up for this party. The next scene, we see Natalie. She's modeling.
She looks good.
She looked good. I mean, she was modeling for some calendar for
prisoners. By her wardrobe, because usually we see her in this like very provocative stuff, but this was kind of like
more conservative.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that.
conservative for her, and I thought again, she looked good. Have we talked about how she reminds me of Marissa Tomei a little bit?
No, we haven't talked about that.
Doesn't she look like Marissa Tomei a little
I
bit?
can see it a little bit.
Like back in the day, Tomei, my cousin Vinny. She has that like old Marissa Tomei look to me. Have you guys seen My Cousin Vinny?
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, you don't see it.
No.
Fans, crazy cops. Let me know if you agree with me.
I think you're alone on that one.
Hopefully the fans have.
I agree with you a tiny bit.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
even our producer.
Our producer thinks so.
He did.
He probably Googled it.
She's more of a trashier version. I'm so sorry.
But she looked good, and the whole point I think was to say, "Oh, that was our connection, mine and Renee's," because I modeled for her clean line, and I remember that, and we still have that bond, which. Really,
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
No.
I think maybe
That ship has
Natalie's
sailed.
head, or that ship is. Who said that? Yeah, that ship is totally sailed. Very, very good point. And then we see London, her boyfriend, there supporting her and
Cheering her on.
what?
Cheering her on.
Cheering her on, supporting her, which is great. It seems like they have
She's
a
saying
very
they're good.
strong bond. The two of them are very connected, even though we see their, in past episodes not getting along. But you do get the sense here at the end of it that at least she's got that. She's got a very supportive guy there. He's
good for her, though.
Yeah, I think he's good for her.
I'm in a great place. Everything's great. La la la.
Yeah.
F Nat D. If she brings me down, it's not gonna happen.
She seemed to have that kind of attitude, which was good. So, and then we see Drita after that with complete rage as she's punching a punching bag, and the voiceover is talking about how she is completely just beside herself with the betrayal of Nat G, and that she believed in her, and she's like, she made me look like an idiot. I can't believe it. I wish that they played. I thought for this entire episode I was
They were
waiting for
gonna
them to play the recording, and they never did.
I wonder if legally they can't.
Wait, did they not play it on the last episode either?
No.
All right,
We had to go on the website and find it.
Let me fill this in for you guys.
Okay.
Remember I had said for a while on many episodes there was
Yes.
going to be something that came out on her?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this was it because he told me it was a recording, but I think they got it from the phone company. I think it was something that they asked, like,
They really
them to
went-
release. Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that illegal? We'll find that out on the
No,
reunion.
it's not illegal because if they had the conversation, the person whose phone it is agrees to I think you can get those records, and I'm
think
pretty sure
it's-
it's what they did.
And I think it's the
illegal. I think you have to
ex-boyfriend
have
and
Well,
the
they didn't need to
recorded it.
record it when they were doing it. I'm pretty sure he told me that they got it from the
ex.
phone records.
The ex's phone records. I don't see why he wouldn't be
The
not
director
willing to
told me
share
this.
it either, because that's her ex, and she's got a lot of enemies. So it's like, why not?
Wow.
Leave that,
Does anyone know what the recording actually said?
Yeah, Paulina and I, we didn't play it.
No,
but
we did. We talked about it. So basically,
Okay.
the ex-boyfriend is, I can't believe you called the PO on me. I'm going back to jail in the summer for 90 days and all this. And she doesn't say yes or no. She kind of just said, like, he says, why did you have to call her? She's like, that's fine. I'm sorry.
He calls her a rat. I think they play it back. Didn't
Rattly.
they play it back for a second? And he was like, and she basically says, "Because I am," right? Because he says, "Why'd you have to be a
She
rat?"
goes,
and she's
"Yeah,
like, "Because I am.
I am.
I am." Yeah.
That's what they reiterated in the episode.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they said that.
Yeah, I think Drita even is the one who said what she heard, that
Right.
tiny clip. I don't think they played any of it.
But I don't recall her saying the word I am. I think he says, why did you have to call? That makes you a rat. And she says, well, that's fine. So it never says I am. But I mean, it
think
could
she
be
never-
misconstrued.
yeah, she
I
never
think
like
Drita-
We have to go back.
confirmed it.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys think about this whole thing, but part of me is like, I find it interesting that, and I understand why Drita feels betrayed, but I find it interesting that they're so upset about something that isn't even really their business. Like, Natalie didn't rat out Drita.
Right.
Natalie didn't rat out Big Ange. This
she-
is something that happened way in the past. Who gives a crap now?
because they care about women
I know.
who rat
That's
at their
their value
men.
system.
In general,
Yes.
And in general, like, rat this, rat that. But I think, and Big Ange said it later on. Finally, Big Ange
Yeah,
has something
she sees a
against
light.
Nat G, and she just says you don't rat out your man, ex-man, like in present day man, you just don't do it. But here's where I'm confused, because I could see why she had to rat out her ex, because he was abusive to her, and she was
Yes.
almost, and she does explain this to us.
Abusive in her words. We don't know if that was
Right,
true.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
We don't.
That's true, and that's kind of the conflict I was having too, because I'm like, well,
I don't believe
they
it.
didn't really clarify the type of relationship they had.
But if it-
she
sorry.
said something about him being somewhat abusive. So if she did if she did rat him out per se, then it's her business. That's kind of how I feel. It's like her own personal business. It has nothing to do with
You
Julia.
make it not your
has
business when
nothing
you
to do
go
with
calling
Big Ange.
everybody else a rat, though, and you go
Yeah.
stirring pots and all these different
And I think
places and
that's the
calling
issue.
everybody else that, and then
Yeah.
look at you.
Yeah,
Like,
you're guilty, essentially.
and that's why I think all the women finally like got together on this one and were in agreement.
But even with recording, like kind of going back to what you said, if they had to go get the records from the phone company, how did it just happen to fall in Nat D's hands?
Yeah.
And she's going around playing it
Because
for
that's
everybody.
probably scripted.
That's what. That's producers.
most likely.
100%.
Nat
That's the
D
producers.
cracks me up.
I think she knew about
Totally.
it and
Wanted
gave
to
the tip off
capitalize
to
on
the
it.
producers, and they probably figured out how to get that in their hands.
And why is Nat G talking to Nat D's ex?
Yeah, we can go
What's
back to
going
that. I
on
don't
there?
know.
For
Yeah.
info?
Yeah,
She called him?
They must have either dated in the past. They must be friends. There's a deep hatred between Nat D and Nat G. Nat D hates Nat G, and she's
You
like
can see it
a
in her face,
scorned
yes.
woman. Whatever, her face is like
she gets so like a
Furious.
But Nat G cannot be that dumb to call her, enemy's boyfriend thinking that he's going to give her info.
I disagree.
You can't
with
be that dumb.
She's that manipulative. She's
Yeah.
not just
Yep.
a backstabber. That's the personality she has, and she says it out loud. I'm going to dig up dirt. I'll find every which way to get you.
And I think she's
in
used
trouble.
to using her sexuality, and I think when it comes to men, she's used to getting what
How
she
many
wants.
men were at that table at that party? You know what I mean? How many girlfriends does she really have?
I don't know. It looked like it was half and half.
It was
though.
It was the
Everybody had,
girlfriends
like,
of the men that were there.
Yeah.
They brought the
We'll get
girlfriends.
to that.
And she's been with all of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, or even Nat D's boyfriend, Ronnie. Like, we don't know what happened in the past. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why Nat
She
G
admits, though.
feels like
That's
she
how I
has,
feel. I feel like
you
there's
know?
something. Nat D is really, really mad about something.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with Mob
And I think
Wives.
there's more. There's way more
It's
to it.
way
though.
more
She
to
says
it.
unfinished business.
There's so much that we don't know. I haven't, and I'll admit it. I know we're doing the show. I haven't dug up anything online. Has anybody else seen or anything?
Just the recording.
I think maybe it's got something to do with the ex. Why would she be affiliated with her ex?
So if any of you guys watching and listening, because you guys are amazing, if you know or if you're able to find anything online that talks about the prior relationship between Nat D and Nat G, I would love to know, because I feel like there is something really deep going on. I feel like the hatred is more from Nat D's side. I feel like Nat G doesn't really give a crap about this girl and is just like, whatever. But I would love to know really what went down, because it's definitely a lot more than what we're being shown.
I'll tell you what I did dig up, though.
What?
I finally looked up Drita's husband's pictures, and he's
really?
hot.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, like I was
She's
actually
hot.
very shocked. No, because I don't know, I just
like
figured
the
this like
name.
big Italian mafioso
Yeah.
guy, like not necessarily, they're not all good looking, some
Yeah.
of them are.
No, most of
and
them
he's
are.
good looking, so go Drita.
I know he's so secretive.
She's
like,
hot
we
though.
never.
She's hot, so I'm not.
I'm
I'm,
gonna look
not
him up.
surprised.
It's expected.
I like his name. Lee is a hot name. So, you
Is
gotta be
it?
hot.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a hot name. I don't know. Lee?
Lee?
No.
I think it's okay. I like
They
it.
are.
Okay, so moving on. Next scene, we see just like a little side kind of storyline is AJ picking out a promise ring for his girlfriend, and that was sweet. You know, I thought it was funny how Renee prefaced it like, "Oh, here, what I'm used to is going to a jewelry store in the back room and then rolling out the red carpet and billing us later." So I guess they needed the royal treatment for him to get his promise ring also.
That's like an engagement ring to me.
It did.
He didn't need the
But
big
he
diamond
said
on top
no.
of the promise ring. He said I don't want a band, and I thought a cute little band would have been nice.
But what's a girl supposed to think when she's getting a ring with a
and then
diamond on
everybody's
it?
like clapping
In front
like
of
thinking they got
everybody?
engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, totally seemed like an engagement.
At least it's better. I don't know if any of you guys watch Vanderpump Rules, but at least it's
do.
better than the ring on the string. So,
Oh, that's so true.
dude, yeah, that's
To agree with
really
you on
the
that one.
worst thing. Especially, if she's older, I think, than this girl. But okay, so next scene we see is Nat D, and we get her perspective on the whole thing. She's at a shooting range, and she's like tough. She's like a tough ass
so
chick.
scary. But
She's so scary.
I sort of love her. I think she's
She's a hard ass.
I want to watch her when she's on screen. Like, I think she's so entertaining. I love the way that she talks. She's so dirty.
She's
but,
dirty and raw and
Oh.
hard. She's like one of those things that's like, but you can't stop watching.
Yeah, it
her
was like-
face, I'm not
it was
saying,
like Snooki back in the
I'm
day.
not hating.
Yeah.
But there's something about the way she moves her face, and it's like a very
It's hysterical.
it's she's like the caricature of a woman. I don't know how to explain it, but there's something very
She's
cartoonish.
very Philly, though. If you've seen girls like that, there are a certain group like that from Philly.
She's so hard.
They're very hard,
Yikes.
they're very street. They're very tough. out loud will talk about how they want to be like she said, I want to stomp on Natalie, I want to get ghetto on her. They take pride in that Philly like facade. I don't know what the word is, but so I see, because I had a roommate from Philly, and she was very, big, busty girl, beautiful girl, but just hard attitude like that. So I believe her, 100%.
I believe her too. She's scary. I would not want that chick mad at me. I'd rather have Nat G rap me and run away.
I would get a group of 7 people behind me too if I knew that girl was gonna beat me up.
So would I. There's no way. I kind of don't blame Nat G for doing what she did, because Nat D is scary.
She would take her down.
She would. And not only is she tough, but she's got a motive. She hates Nat G for some reason, and that hatred is really fueling her
amps up the aggression.
Oh, yeah.
Double.
I'm going to agree with you, Erika, on this. Like, she is a tough cookie, and if I wanted anyone on my side, it would be her.
Oh, 100%.
As opposed to both, with both Natalie's, it's going to be her. And, we're going to talk about it, but that last, party that they were at for Renee, she actually, at the end of the episode, went to go after her with the group of friends. So it shows how ballsy she is, knowing that they have all these men, these hardcore women, and she's out there like, I don't care. I'm going to fight her.
Dude, she is legit.
She's legit.
She really
she
is.
even said, she's like,
feedback.
I'm an army of one. I myself am an army.
I'm my own gangster. I'm my own crew.
Like that. But that's why it's sad that she goes for a guy like Ronnie, how he cries, and then they get back together, and she's like, why are you with a guy like that if you're such a strong woman, Like, you want to be with that manipulative kind of guy.
And I think they show that to show her vulnerability, because otherwise then we see it's too harsh of a character to like.
We would only see one side.
We would only see one side, and so then you see that vulnerability that she has, and you see that, oh yeah, she's a woman.
I know. And I almost wish we got to see more of her personality.
Yeah, she's really interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like all we really got to see was her just hate on Nat G so much every single episode, talking about her, just throwing things out, and we didn't get to see enough of her.
And I have to say, it's hard to be likable when you come off with that much negativity.
Yes.
But I think she somewhat managed to not necessarily be likable, but to be interesting, because we all agree that there's something about her that's interesting. We just loved how she committed to it. But at first, I think we're all like, who's this chick? She's hating way too hard.
Especially with Big Ange and Drita's doubt.
Yeah.
Like, we all love them so much, so we want to go where they go. And, when Drita was swifting to that side, we were like, all right, now we're just waiting on Big Ange.
Yeah.
So finally.
All right, so up next, then we see Karen and Big Ange together. And Big Ange basically breaks the news to Karen that Renee, which I find it odd that Renee didn't tell Karen, but Renee is going to be inviting Nat G to the party. And Karen is upset, but she's just like, I still support her. She's my friend. I just thought it was weird that Renee didn't tell her. They're like BFFs.
I do think that was odd.
Like,
If they had cleared the air before, why not invite her yourself?
Absolutely. And Renee is holding her loyalty to Karen so much so that you would think that would be right off the bat something that she tells her.
If I were Karen, what I would be annoyed about is not the fact that she invited Nat D, is just the fact that she didn't tell me and had Big Ange do it.
Yeah.
I thought that was weird. Anyways, but Ange, as you see, is still taking Natalie G's side, even after hearing about the recording and all that. So
I think she just wants to give her the benefit of the doubt. That's what she's been doing all season, and I don't think she wants to believe anything until she sees it for her own eyes or hears it herself. And then she'll make that decision.
And I somewhat agree with that. I'm not all about hearsay and gossiping. If somebody's truly your friend, then you're their friend, and you give them the benefit of the doubt until they actually prove you wrong.
Totally. And on that note, I feel like it was interesting too when Drita did hear the recording from Nat D, and right off the bat, she already was having some issues with Nat D first, but right off the bat she just took the recording in and immediately as fact, and it was just so quick that Nat D was able to sway her opinion, who was originally defending Nat G. So I was just like, oh,
well, it's because of the evidence.
That's all
she's off of evidence.
Proof. But I mean, what if it wasn't really her voice?
Yeah, what if it was taken out of context?
Yeah.
I agree, because I'm the same way. When I'm friends with someone, I'm fully loyal to them, and so if something were to come to my possession that would prove otherwise, I would confront that person directly. I would say, hey, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And I think to Drita's point is she has been doing that. So for her, this was the final
Kind of like
straw.
the last straw. Yeah.
I mean, haven't you guys ever dealt with like a cheating boyfriend and then someone screenshots the messages he sent to somebody else
No.
and then you believe it as evidence?
Dude, I've been married for like 6 years.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying before that, because like I've been in situations with my exes where like they'll still be texting me, and then the girlfriend contacts me, and I have to show the girlfriend what he's saying.
Yeah.
That's happened before.
No, I know.
And so that's like the only way to like feel like get your argument across when somebody you don't know the person and they don't trust you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It
she said she
happens.
wasn't
It's
going to meet with
evidence.
Nat D unless Nat D came with proof, which she did, which is why she skipped the baptism, and she needed to get her head on straight.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so up next is the party. So we see this whole build up the entire episode, basically the entire season. And my first off the bat, I was like, what is this place? It looks like a freaking like school cafeteria that they put tables on.
It was a catering hall.
It was a catering
literally
hall?
said outside.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't.
I wrote, looks nice. Everybody looks good, I guess. I wrote, security, lots of security. 'Cause there was just, like, every shot I saw security. So they wanted it to go
They were
down.
ready.
Obviously, I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but I think this whole table thing, had got to be planned. Like, Renee said,
That was ridiculous. That was
You can't invite people into a Mob Wives event and not have someone at the door being like, yes, no.
And that was the shadiest thing to me of this whole thing was that how can a huge group of people sneak into a party and Renee
Private.
have
Be there
no
with
idea?
enough time to
Renee's
eat.
sitting at the table right next to them.
I have a
not
feeling I
wondering who they
know.
were.
What if the planner for this party, because we know Renee didn't do it herself.
Put him in,
That's
put him on the
exactly
list.
what I
Yes, because what's her face? Nat G probably emailed all these names.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
To
That's
the
a good point.
RSVP and got them in.
That's exactly what I thought. They probably said, okay, guys, we're going to have this party. You know, each of you guys can invite, like, probably they do that at all the parties. I mean, how do they fill these catering halls?
any
Say,
parties
okay, each
like
of you
that.
guys can invite, like, you know, your 15 people or whatever.
It's like a flyer with an RSVP
Exactly.
email.
It's like, hey, here's, you know, and we get that living in LA, you know, and you can, okay, cool. It's exactly what I thought. So it was totally a setup. It wasn't that these people snuck
But
in to
that's still
fight.
a shady move.
It's not that shady.
I think so.
Actually, I don't think it's that shady.
Because Renee did look a little like, wait, what? And I like that Drita was so like, I found this out. Like, look at this, you know? So maybe they didn't tell the wives, but got them on the list, like you said. So the wives were caught off guard.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm sure they were in on it, but then.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, totally.
100%.
This is
This
pre-planned,
whole
but
thing is
at
orchestrated.
the
They
same
were also so like, these people were like grilling, like,
Yeah.
like they're so
That was
obvious.
so-
Like,
That
Bloody
one girl in the white
In the
jacket
white- oh,
was just
wow.
looking behind. Just her face
Nasty
gave it
girl.
away.
Yeah.
She was so
ready to
guilty.
I feel like that was editing. I bet you they filmed that right when they got there. They're bored, they're hungry, they haven't gotten their food yet, and they're just staring at the waiter. I thought about that as I watched it. I was like, there's no
That's
way.
funny.
That was so editing.
No,
They're-
that girl looked like she was waiting for that
They're-
2
they're
minutes
probably
of
waiting
fame
for
for
their-
a long time.
their
She's like,
waiter.
Got my
Totally.
bitch face on.
Wait, but I also want to clarify something here. So she invites her whole crew and security, but at the same time, if you think about it, Mob Wives has like 15 security guards on guard, like
Yeah.
for anything. I mean, if you ever see any of their fight scenes, now they're prepared. They know they have to have backup.
Yeah.
You'll see like 20 people come out.
That's what I thought. I was like, really, these people didn't really just sneak in, and don't like. That's where part of it's like, okay, I mean, maybe they don't. I mean, they're like, okay, all the people that watch us are idiots. But it's like, I hope you think that your audience is intelligent enough not to fall for
Right.
something like that. It's
Yeah.
like, that was so weird to me and so transparently produced that. I don't know. A lot of this last episode was kind of like that.
Right.
The
But
whole
before we
preface
saw
of the
that,
plan.
I was actually kind of scared for Nat
Yeah,
G,
well, I
because,
was
like,
so- yeah.
We have them all like preparing for her arrival, and like,
you
Karen's like,
see
I just
she-
hope she busts a face open. I'm just gonna sit back and watch. I'm like, dude, she's gonna get her.
And
face
she was
busted
ready. Did you
open.
see her pull out that phone? She was like,
yeah. She was
Okay, so
pissed.
before we get started on that, I want to just one question, and then we can get into that whole thing. Where was Carla?
Yeah, I was guessing she's gonna make
MIA
another.
again.
Yeah.
That's the one thing the fans on YouTube that wanted. Everybody wants to know the whole
Where's
situation with
Carla?
that.
And
Was not
I thought that
invited.
was so weird. That was like a loose string that was never tied. It's like they introduced her for an
was a
episode or
tease.
two.
It was a
They
tease.
teased it, and then I totally thought they were going to bring her at the end.
She'll probably come back next.
For the reunion. You think she'll? I think she'll be there for the reunion. She's got to show up.
She's
They've
not going to be at the
gotta-
reunion. No,
No, I could see them bringing her in like in the middle of it and then having to close that loose
maybe.
end.
And then they send her off.
Yeah.
She's only going to be there for a
I
little
mean,
bit.
Carla's still tweeting about it too, so she's coming back.
There's something. I mean, it was, but
Why
it
would
was
she
odd
be
though. If they're gonna
advocating
ever come back, why not really really surprise her and have us come full back as a Full Housewife next,
Hey,
next
it
week,
gets you to watch
next
the
season.
reunion show.
Exactly.
Well, we were gonna watch it anyway.
I know, but hey, for those viewers that were unsure,
Yeah.
if there are any,
No,
But
the
think about
reunion.
it. Like, they kind of did leave us hanging on a lot of things. Carla,
Yeah.
the tape we never got to hear.
Yeah.
The ending of the party
I
itself.
don't think they're ever going to air the tape though.
Probably
We're going
not.
to hear off a hearsay from the union of what the girls are going to say about it.
And I have my opinions on this whole episode. Basically, I felt it was the most, and I will say this, the most anticlimactic finale of any reality show I've ever seen.
Completely
it was
agreed.
So disappointing. Like, I was so pumped up for this last episode.
And then nothing
But then
happened.
as I was watching it, and it's like, okay, 15 minutes
It's like
left.
5 minutes till.
I know. 5 minutes. I'm like, is there going to be a special part 2 that we don't know about?
Exactly.
I
Is
was
this
like,
one a 90-minute finale?
and the way it ended, I'm like,
the
oh
fight's
my
gonna go down in the
God,
reunion.
It's I know,
You know?
but I can't. You can't sit there and hope for the reunion. You want it to happen now.
Yeah.
So
So
we can
wait,
talk
next
about it at the
week is
reunion.
that a reunion or the last episode?
This
No,
was the
reunion.
last
This was the season
episode.
finale.
Oh, because they made it seem like there's one more
No.
episode.
No,
next
there's
week.
2 parts to the reunion.
Okay, so that was
How ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. It was for me. I was coming into this like so pumped. Like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Natalie versus Natalie, Drita versus Carla, like Renee versus Nat. Like everyone is. If we're gonna have it out, there was nothing.
Nothing.
It was the most anticlimactic and like finale
Totally.
of a reality show
Yeah.
Yes.
I have ever seen, and I am saying that with true.
And they did build it up. They each, have them talking about what a year it's been. It's been
Oh my
such a year for
God.
us. Da, 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 da. And you're like, all right, and when are we
do
going
it.
to get to it? And it just never happens. And I'm reading my notes right here. She did say, Najee, I just am to being a rat. And that's what Drita told
I
the
knew
girls in
it.
that
She did
circle.
say that.
Said, I just am.
And, but this whole time, all we want to see is for Nat D and Nat G to have a conversation, and that didn't even happen.
Well, it's going to happen
That's
on
not
the
gonna
of course
reunion.
it's gonna happen on the reunion.
And
But like,
by the way, I have a feeling they may play that video recording or audio recording at the reunion,
Yeah.
so in front of Nat G where she could hear it.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's going to happen. They're going to reveal it to
Yes.
everyone, and
Right in
they're
the
all,
moment.
and like Big Ange still hasn't heard it. Like they're all going to be convinced, and she's going to be in the room and have to hear it.
What do you
for
think
herself.
about Ange? Like at
I
first when they were
love-
having that conversation, you saw her doubt. We were
Yeah.
like, no, come on. Then finally, when Drita says, Ange says, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else. And Drita says, that sounds like every other guy who's sitting in jail debating on why they're there. Do you remember when she said that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what made Ange go, shoot, you're right. And that's what swayed her opinion to go, all right, now Nat G, like, definitely crossed the line.
yeah.
But I think she came to that conclusion when she left with her friends. Like that's when she was like, "Hey, I can't
agree.
defend that action. I can't. Like, why would you bring them to the party?" But I love Big Ange because actually the funniest thing that she said in the show was, "I got to be careful what I say around Nat D because she might be wearing a wire."
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, so funny. So true.
Yeah, but she still doesn't want to believe it. She's still giving her the benefit of the doubt, which I think I could agree with because she still hasn't heard it herself. Everything is still hearsay.
And I think that's the most redeeming quality about Big Ange too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, the
she
loyalty. Yeah.
is the best.
Yeah.
And from the start, she's always been kind of neutral, giving everyone their fair shake, not like super quick to jump to any conclusions. And even in this case, she was trying to help out Najee.
Right.
And,
And she's not going to Nat D, telling her all these things, and she's not, siding with anybody. So
Yes.
she's not blaming anybody for anything.
Totally. And we also saw this season how she was quick to jump on her girls too about this whole rat situation, calling out Renee, calling out Nat D for this whole, is she wearing a wire thing? Like
Yeah.
she was real quick to say like, hey, you're calling it out, but also look at what you guys are doing yourselves.
And that's what I totally agree with is that how she said with Nat D, it's like, wait, I mean, isn't that her ratting on Natalie? She's also being a rat.
It's the same thing.
Right.
It's
How
the
do you-
same
yeah.
thing. And I felt the same thing. I was like, how did they get this recording? Like, to me,
Yeah.
that's super sketchy and super
Totally.
weird.
Well,
like,
From
it's
the
one thing-
producers, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, but
Right.
essentially, no, it's not being a rat because you're trying to help a friend out in this situation.
Yeah.
That's how I
But
look
here's
at it.
Okay,
it's truth.
here's what bugs me. If I were Nat D and I went to someone, I was like, don't be friends with this girl. First of all, I would tell her one time. And if not, then that's on you.
Right.
Like I don't need to keep going,
Yeah.
going, going,
Harping
going.
on it.
Well,
I don't.
Right.
I
Trying to
would
get these girls
prove. I would go that far if I needed to prove something for myself.
Yes.
But if I'm trying to protect you, that's on you.
Yes.
But I would go to be like, no, this is what happened to my friend. Blah blah blah. But I mean, if it's my girlfriend's, that's on you.
She had a personal motive. It had nothing to do with her wanting to help any of
She
the
hates
other girls.
the girl,
She
Right.
hates her. And
Right.
that's what I can't get over. It's like, dude, it has nothing to do with you, Nat D. Like, this whole thing with Nat G's boyfriend had
Well,
nothing to do
she
with
said that the
But
boyfriend.
maybe it does, and we don't really know.
She said the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, is her friend.
Her friend. I mean, her friend. I mean, what is that?
What kind of friend?
Maybe it was an ex. Maybe it's a cousin. Maybe it's
because
what is it?
your boyfriend's friend. I mean, how important is your boyfriend's friend to you?
Yeah.
Like, if your boyfriend's friend does something, you're gonna be like having the recording on your phone, telling all your girls.
I don't know if somebody like
that's...
really messed with one of my friends or a friend of a like that I was so close within the circle, I would probably be offended by
but
that.
you wouldn't go so far as to judge us.
If they were hurting my circle, of course I would want you guys to like.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think that was an alarm. My bad. I would, of course, want the circle to know, because why would you want your friends to be hurt? Like, it's not just a one little bug in their ear and, like, let it go. I would never want someone to hurt you, Erika.
No,
like, you know what I'm
I know.
saying?
But it just seems like it's...
You're going to fight to, like, make sure your friend gets it.
I think Nat D's trying to get in the group, too. This is her way in.
Well, and that's the thing that we talked about, I think, for the first, like, a couple weeks back, is, like, is her motive to be on the show, or is her motive...
To protect her friend.
No, I don't think her motive at all. Nat D, these aren't her friends at all. So she has no motive to help these women at all. I think her motive is either to be on the show and make herself relevant, or two, she really has something in for Nat G.
Which I
it might
hope
be
we
a
find
combination
out.
of two,
Yeah.
of both. I think the producers maybe found her somehow. They figured out someone who really hated her. They, one of her films said, hey, you got to talk to this other Nally. This other Nally has so much beef with her. She'll be great for the show.
Yeah.
Totally.
Perfect. She's in.
Yes, because scripted or not, like, how perfect was it that
Perfect.
Drita just happened to be doing her makeup on this shoot? Oh, and by the way, I know exactly, Nat G,
No,
who
that-
you're talking
Wasn't
about.
it funny when
wasn't-
Drita called
yeah.
Nat G a certified boob job or something? I was like, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was funny.
She's so good with those one-liners,
Yeah,
Drita.
she's got some good ones.
She's
got good
great.
ones.
Okay, so I mean, we talked about. Yeah, I mean, we talked about, so Nat G brought her crew with her, which was super sketchy and weird.
So shady. I hated that move so much. And here's why. First of all, you know your enemy is Nat D. It's one person. Like, unless you hear through the grapevine that they're bringing friends and all of a sudden it's a big throwdown, it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fair fight. I don't believe in unfair where you got to bring your crew and all of a sudden I'm jumping you. It's 6 versus 1. That's not
Yeah,
cool.
and in their
No.
lifestyle, that's not how they operate, which is why Big Andrew's
Right.
like, this lifestyle betrayal is just not acceptable.
And Nicole, that's a really great saying. It's lifestyle betrayal.
Yeah.
Because at the end of it, and this is, I think, where we're all kind of like, what? Why? It has nothing to do with her personally. It's like a lifestyle betrayal. It's like,
Right.
you're going to be part of us. You got to run by our rules.
True.
And rule number 1, you don't be a rat. Rule number 2, if you're going to fight, you're going to
Fight
fight
fair.
one-on-one, and you're going to stand up
Which
for
is how
yourself.
it should be. And Drita's been preaching that all, past
Always.
couple episodes.
Day one, Drita
Always,
said
yeah.
that. She'll
Going
fight her own
off
fight.
that, it's fight your own battles. And
Exactly.
essentially, that's why
Totally.
Big Ange said she's a PUSSY for doing that.
Yeah,
She is.
She, yeah, and you can't defend that either. She said it on Twitter. You can't defend it. I can't defend it.
She said it in the direct to camera. She's like, I'm not going to fight these people. And
Go into a lion's den.
yeah, because that ending, for the way she ended it, okay.
Then don't talk about
First of all, I'm going to play devil's advocate. First of all, I don't blame her. I would not want to go against Nat
Yeah,
D.
we said that.
I would not want to go against that girl. So I'd probably be run. But then again, I wouldn't be a good candidate for Mob Wives because I'm not the kind of person that wants to beat another girl's and see to a pulp and, rip her face
You'd
off.
be the Carla.
I don't think I've even said the words "rip her face off." Like, no, it's like would not even cross
I
my
think
mind.
Nat G's
I would
way
probably-
of fighting is digging up dirt.
Yeah.
And then when
It
it
is her
comes
way.
down to the face-to-face fight,
She backs
just
down.
Always
She
has
did
backed
have that
down.
hardcore fight with Karen.
Yeah,
that
but
was
Karen
pretty
attacked
hardcore.
her first.
Yeah. It was
She was all talk
unexpected.
saying
And
that
she
she was
ran,
going to break
yeah.
her face too,
That's
and then
true.
she just sat down, whipped her tits out. I mean, it's just the same ordeal. She sits down, she takes her coat off, and we see her tits. Like, it's like, okay, when are you going to draw your gun? Because Nat D has like
Those are the weapons.
Where is your gun?
Yeah, and the thing that killed me this season about Naji was exactly like you said. Like, she talks the biggest game every single episode. She's always talking about fighting everybody, fighting girls, whatever. In the second or third season, I remember this. She specifically said, "I'll throw fists with a dude faster than I will with a girl." And I think it was when she was confronting Karen and
She wanted to do that with the Drunken Monkey.
Yes, and she was like
That's
ready
right.
to fight,
Yeah.
ready to fight guys even. And then Drita's saying, "Don't approach a man unless you want to get treated
Which
like
I
a man
agree
in a
with.
fight."
Preach.
And even this fight too.
Yeah.
She cheers with Fireball. Did you catch that?
Yes.
They took a shot at
I saw
Fireball
that.
with
I
a
was
wine
like-
glass. I'm like, and you're trashy.
Totally. And so she's always talking about throwing the fists, being physical, and then here is her chance. Here's her chance to really back up her talk. And what does she do?
Yeah.
She falls onto the side of airing the dirty laundry. It's like you're talking fists this whole time, and then now you're just falling.
And what's irritating, and this might be the producers or production setting up the party, was that they both wanted. She brought her friends, And then Nat D brought out the phone, but yet you're there for Renee. And they keep talking about, I got to go support my friend. We're here. I can't start anything. So that bugged me that they were about to do that. That they had to do that.
Yeah, well, they didn't go there.
So
for
I think,
baptism.
yeah,
They
well,
went
that's
there
what I'm
for
saying. I think
all
that was a production move.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Because she was just like this. We were like, you're not going to play it. I didn't think she was going to play it.
I
was
didn't
like,
think
know
she was
she's
gonna
not.
play
And
it.
Renee's just like, Natalie. I know. That was it.
Yeah, and even the editing too made it seem like something was happening in the room. Things were like moving along.
There's
And so-
definitely tension in
and
that room.
Totally. And Nat D was like, "Oh, I got to get it real quick
Yeah.
and like show it to everybody real quick." And then that's
And
when Renee
even on
stepped in.
Twitter, Nat G had said that the party was fake.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh, she did?
What did she say? Do you know exactly?
No, well, there's a few tweets on there. It just says the party was fake. And then it was the
literally
editing.
says the party is fake.
Yeah. Renee's party was fake. And it was the editing that would like misconstrued all these
No
assumptions.
joke. That's nuts.
Twitter.
Is that
Edited. I never
she probably got in
locked up
trouble for that.
I mean, but here's the thing, though. We all know it's a fake party. Is that any news? Like, we all know.
Well,
that
we know because most of us work in entertainment and we're in
Right.
LA, but not the average person sitting at home is aware of that.
I just think it was so obviously set up.
Yeah.
Like we've said before, it's such a disconnect between who Renee says. She's not someone to let things go and like, I want to invite everybody. No, that's totally not her. If it were up
Listen.
to her, she wouldn't want Nat D or Nat G out of baptism party. Probably even Drita either, or Ann. She wouldn't want any of those women except for Karen.
There's a lot that goes on in reality television,
Yes.
television in general, behind the scenes that most audiences are not aware of.
No.
People get paid to say things and sign NDAs, and you don't even know they were paid to do that. So it's just like, do not believe everything
Right.
you're watching.
Yeah.
There are story producers. Yeah, we are aware of it, like, we're talking about. But there are a lot of people at home that believe, like, this is what it is, because there's just a camera
I
there,
don't know
and that's
like,
it.
about these Nat G fans, but like she is tweeting like everything about proving herself. Like she has the real truth about what's missing in the audio. Some people are saying that Nat D's voice is in that audio, and she's saying that the tape is edited. She never locked up her ex. People deserve an Oscar for their performances because nothing is relevant on
And
that tape.
the reality is, we're not going to know the truth. The only people that know the truth is, she's like,
I'm gonna go against that.
I feel like the people in the recording are the only people that know. Like, I mean, do we actually really know the truth to a story, whatever it is, unless you're
Normally,
there?
I would agree with you and say that they cut up pieces to make this voice recording
Yeah.
for the story. But because I know the director and he had told me, like, on the second episode, that there was dirt that they had off of Nat G that was going to come out eventually. They didn't know if
And
they were
they
going
fed
to
it
put it
to
in
her.
the season or the reunion, he told me.
Okay.
And it was something they got the phone records for.
And they had to
so
put
I
it
feel
into-
like, yeah, he would have not even said any of
No,
that.
they had to
just
put it into the
produced
season because nothing freaking happened at the end. Nothing
was
happened.
disappointing.
Yeah, so
Like
you're right.
they had to
make
put
that
it in there.
decision.
This whole thing was completely orchestrated because they put it in there and they made a big deal about it, and then it just fell flat. It was so anticlimactic. I just can't get over how bad this. Okay, it was good in the sense that they really built it up, but I think as an audience we were very much let down with the
And the
conclusion.
wives are tweeting how crazy that reunion was that when they taped it.
Well,
so
I hope
It better be.
It better be. It's
Right,
got to make up.
the
for
Natalie's are going to be there. That's
Yeah.
obvious. So how many?
Who's hosting
how many
it?
fight? Vivica Fox.
Oh, she's hosting
Yeah.
it again. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a showdown.
I want to know how many fights are going to go down.
Yeah.
Because
I
then
mean-
you've got Carla and Drita, and then you got Nat G, then you got Drita and Nat G.
Yeah.
too
And
many
you
to
know they're
keep
going
up
to
with.
capitalize on it. Like
Yeah,
they have to for the reunion.
So it's going to be
especially-
two. So they're going to be 2 more episodes.
Yeah,
Oh,
two
just-
reunions, two
part
parts
one,
to
part
the
two.
reunion.
All right, so 2 more. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else? I think we pretty much tore that one to shreds. All right, guys.
think
Well,
we
then
did.
why don't we go ahead and talk about our predictions for the finale? I mean, for the reunion.
Now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Oh man.
All right, I'll go first.
Sure.
I think Carla is going to show up, like you said, in the middle of the reunion and then leave, after they settle that whole deal with Drita. We're going to find out. I know you fans want to know. So I think they're going to clear the air about that. And I don't think that's that big of a deal. I mean, they were friends in the past seasons. I think they're going to be fine. And obviously there's going to be a throwdown with both Natalie's. They're both going to be there. So who would
I
win
agree.
that?
I think there definitely has to be.
Someone's going to
some
leave the
sort of-
couch and they're going to come back and then someone's going to be bleeding. There's got to be something.
I think there's also going to be some rift between Big Ange and Renee, and like Big Ange and Karen. I think there's going to be a little rift there
because she's hiding with Nat G so much.
Yeah, I think, and remember, Big Ange and Renee kind of had issues early on, so I think that there's going to be talk from there. I don't necessarily think Carla's going to be brought back. I think enough information is going to be, there's going to be enough material to talk about the Nats and Renee and the people that are there. Maybe she'll show up for a little bit, but I really don't see them focusing on that at all.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to hear like a definitive opinion from Big Ange because she's like so.
She's wishy-washy right now.
Yeah, you know.
She's not wishy-washy. She's pretty Nat G, so.
Well, at the end of this episode, whose
Because
voice
maybe they'll
was
hear
that?
the tape too or something.
Yeah.
Do you remember whose voice it was at the end of this episode saying the girls are done? We're all done with Nat G. We're not divided anymore. Who was saying? Were they all saying that?
I think they were all. I think they had snippets of what it looked like to me is they had snippets of all the girls saying, "All right, well, bye bye," like almost as if like a farewell to her and to Mob Wives forever. Like that was a send off. Like everyone's done with her, and that's the sense that I got that they were not going to have her on the show.
Can the fans just tell me why they like Nat G and why they defend her so much?
Because there are people that identify with who she is.
I guess so, and I get why
know?
some of you are saying maybe Nat D is being a rat because she's like leaking her audio, and like you said, like it's not really her business. I get that, but we go back to like the lifestyle thing, and like, you know, if you're gonna like play the part, because somebody just tweeted like real mobsters and gangsters ride with the, you know, their crew and they don't ride solo, and it's like, well that okay,
not in public.
Yeah,
first of all,
like these aren't these are the wives.
These are
of
women.
them.
Yeah,
These are women, and these are women that fight their own battles because they're tough women. So don't talk like you're this tough woman and then you contradict yourself. That is just the one thing I don't get. So my prediction real quick is that I think that Nat D, maybe we'll see why Nat D has this target for Nat G. Why? What happened in the past? Like maybe,
I want to hear more.
I would like something revealed.
I would like
the
more.
ex.
Yes,
like
the
I want to hear
history
about
between
that
Nat G and Nat D.
Why Nat G calls Nat D's ex? What's the stem?
I think we'll hear because both of the women are going to be there, so they're going to say something.
Yeah.
Well, I was a Nat G fan before, up until she brought her crew and then left the party. Because I was along with Big Ange. I was like, I want to hear this side, I want to hear this side, and then, you know, I want to hear the evidence. So I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt
And decide
because
for yourself.
Right, because of her story of being abused, whether or not it was emotional or physical. If it was physical, I think she did the right thing. And that's why I kind of sided with her, because that's not something you joke about. But then when she brought her crew to the party and then left with the crew and didn't do anything, that's when I was like, all right, I'm not really a fan of you anymore.
Yeah, I know it was a big ending for Nat G to go out that way. I feel
When
like
that car was slowing down in front,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to stop. I was like, stop the car, get out of the car. Come on, girl, show what you got.
Right.
I was waiting for them to run her over on this side of the street. I thought that was going to happen next, and then there'd be a lawsuit. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Cameras, how about your predictions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to hear more from Big Ange. I feel like just in case something comes out at the reunion, like maybe we hear the tape or something, maybe she'll really like definitively state her opinion. Then at that point, I definitely want to hear more about the history between Nat D and Nat G. So hopefully a little more of that will come out on the reunion. And I do think that Carla might come out for the reunion. I feel like that would be a really good spot for them to highlight her, even just for like a quick cameo, 2-3 minutes, just to like stir it up. I mean, that's the point of the reunion
what's
anyways.
going on with her and Drita.
Do you think that all the women are going to show up?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
They better. It's probably in their contract.
Well, you know, sometimes some of those housewives
they don't.
Sometimes they don't show
Yes.
up. Like you get all
no
amped up.
paycheck then.
And I think these women are. It's not like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or OC where they have these huge businesses and they're making tons of money anyways. These women, I think they need the money and they want the money and they want the exposure. So I don't care. I don't think they care what happens. They're going to show up.
And I think every single one of them has like their piece to get out, especially Nat G. Like, of course she's going to show up. She has to like defend herself, her position.
Maybe she'll show up.
And one more thing about like her going away. To me, her leaving tells me that she is guilty of all that. That she's the one in the wrong. When you're wrong, usually they flee. I mean, if you're right, you're not going to leave.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, well, she probably is lying because someone who's really holding their truth isn't going to run away like that.
I
think she's got to be lying. She's got to know that she did something wrong.
Yeah,
and she don't want to face it.
But then she also proudly says again, if you want to come after me, I'm going to dig up your garbage. It's like, all right, so next season, are we just going to see you like talking more about like other people's shit? I mean,
Going off that, I'm going to predict that there won't be a next season.
Whoa,
Because
really?
I feel like the way they left off with a finale is like, you know, her driving away, we'll never be in the same room with her again. Done. She's cut off.
I think there's going to be a next season. I think they've
so,
got
too.
Nat D in there. I think they're warming up Carla to come back. I think there's definitely going to be a next season.
Who wouldn't come back?
Renee,
Probably,
maybe.
Renee,
in her
yeah,
interview,
we were
she
talking
said
about that
no.
last time, yeah.
She said she might not come back. Nat G. I don't know. We're getting the music, so I think we gotta say
Wrap it
goodbye.
up.
But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to leave comments, like the video. We love all the conversation going on. We've got some more voices in here, so hopefully we resonate with more of you. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'm your host, Erika Vieira. You can find me on beautyandthevlog.com and my podcast, Beauty and the Vlog, where I chat with YouTubers.
And you can find me on Twitter at _Paulina Aquilar.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube at Nicole Brajer.
And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Blake V Media.
Last but not least,
You guys can find me at Gabriello87 on Instagram and Gabrielle_Loren on Twitter. And obviously here next week,
AFTERBUZZ.
Thursday afternoon.
yes, we
Slash
cannot
For their reunion.
wait.
That's
It's going to be amazing.
Drink or what?
I know. For next week, we'll come with some alcohol.
Thank you. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later, bitches.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.